Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today, we're going to talk about having the security that you had when you were a child. Do you remember when you were a child and situations rose up? You didn't take it like you do now. You didn't worry about it. You didn't spend so much time figuring out how you were going to address it. You just knew that the people who were your mentors or your parents or the people who took care of you, the people you looked up to, you just knew it would be taken care of. So what a wonderful feeling to go back to that childlike period in time when situations didn't bother you because you knew without a shadow of a doubt they would be taken care of, so you didn't really give it a second thought. The question would be, can we get back to that place where when we have struggles, we don't have to overthink it? Because we trusted that the people that were over us, that made the decisions for us, would take care of it, so we didn't have to give it a second thought. I believe we can go back to that place in time, or almost completely back, and not take things so seriously, going back to the universal law and just trusting that everything is going to work out. The key word here would be trust. We have to live in trust, which is another word for faith. We have to live in faith and just know that everything is going to work out, because we tend to jump to a negative side. But what happens if we jump to the positive? And instead of having doubts, we are positive about it. We live in the realm where we say, what if everything goes right? What if? Usually what ifs are negative, but we can turn it around, spin it around, and live in the what if everything goes right. Because when we don't trust the universe, when we don't have the faith that everything is going to work out, when we walk around constantly with struggles on our minds, constant worry that something isn't going to go right, it creates health issues. And by doing so, it doesn't make things any better. It just compounds the situation, because on top of the situation that you're concerned about, you now have maybe a little depression, maybe a little more aches and pains on top of it, because it's a known fact that stress brings on illness. And if you're concerned about something, if you feel like you have to control it, and that's basically what it is, control. And the fact of the matter is that we can't control things. We have to let it go. We have to trust the universe. And that takes a little bit of work in letting go. I think our nature is to try to control the situation. But if you just know without a doubt that it's going to work out, I'm going to share something with you, very, very minor. In fact, it just happened a few minutes ago. I have notes on my wall here, and one of them looks like it had fallen and somebody pinned it up all crazy. And it bothered me, so I asked someone to please straighten it out. And they said, oh, not now, I'll do it later. Now, I know later turns into 3 weeks, a month, and I start to dwell on this piece of paper being all sideways. And I just felt like it will get straightened out, because I like to work in an area that's somewhat organized. And so that person came back into my studio, and I said, when you have a minute, could you please pin that up correctly for me? Because I couldn't reach it. And they did, and it literally did take a minute. It literally did work out. And now it's all organized. So that's just an example of how we let things bother us, but we trust. I would say the biggest difference now that we're adult and trying to live in that childlike freedom is, as an adult, you have to take the steps that it takes to work out the situation. but we don't need to be consumed in our heads over the situation. Again, we'll go back to praying and meditating and getting the answers and doing what physically needs to be done, but making that disconnect between letting it rest in your head 24/7 and getting the job done physically. The biggest difference between the childlike freedom and the freedom now would be that the person who did take the physical steps for you before may not be able to do that now, nor should they as you're an adult. But making those physical steps, and as I said, detaching yourself from the situation, do what needs to be done, and then have the faith. Trust the universe, trust yourself, trust God, and just walk knowing that you've done all that you can do. Be honest in all things and walk and trust and know that it's going to be taken care of. But when you do seek the answer and you do get the answer, we need to be prepared to take those steps. Take those steps forward. Take them without fear, but just do it knowing that you're doing it for the betterment of your future, that you're doing it to take care of you, or you're doing it to take care of loved ones or situations. We do have to take the necessary steps, but we do not need to carry the situation with us because it does not help. In fact, it hurts. So the key word, I think, would be detachment from the situation. And you walk in the physical and you do the steps that it needs to have done to make the situation better without it consuming you mentally. Because when things consume you mentally, then you can't be in the present moment. You're consumed with your thoughts. And it's such a waste of time. And there's that old saying about you'll never get that time back. That is actually very, very true. So the time that you're consumed, you're not living. You're not being present. You're not being present with the people you're with. You're not being your true self because your mind is consumed. So there is a balance in letting that go. But when we seek to be childlike, and by childlike, I mean free to enjoy life without the worries of the world resting on us. And I think the key to that is being prepared to take the steps necessary to get the job done, to make the situation better without allowing it to consume you. So again, how do we do that? Clear your mind. You have to relax. You have to have faith and trust. Meditating to get the answers. And when you get the answers, you take the necessary steps. And when you know that you've gotten the answers from the universe, from God, from faith, then you can sit back and you have to really trust, really enjoy relaxing in God, in faith, in the universe. Just know that you did what you can do, what you're supposed to do to make the situation better. But now you're going to go on and be happy and be present and just walk in faith. And the more we do that and the more we see it unfold, the more we see that things do work out when we just trust. I think the easier it's going to be to step into that faith mode and let things work out the way they're supposed to, which I believe is always better. It does work out, and it works out without us wasting our life. Basically, what it is knowing and trusting and having faith that the best outcome will work out. So I would say a goal in life, and I don't know if you ever thought about it this way, a goal in life would be to get back to that childlike person that just enjoys, that doesn't worry about what's going on around them. And as an adult, I know we have more responsibilities and we can't live quite that free. I understand that. But we also don't need to live with the weight of the world on our shoulders. So to sum it all up, when you have a situation going on in your life, regardless of what it is, sit quietly, try to be as still as possible. Pray, meditate, get the answers, and set fear aside. Step forward and taking the steps necessary to make it better. And when you've done that, when you know that you've done all you can do, just walk in faith. You just need to believe, and you can still smile while you're believing. You can still be present. You can still enjoy life. You don't need to put yourself on pause while you're waiting for something to work out. Because while you're living and enjoying your life, the universe is hard at work taking care of the situation that you presented to it. And that's the way it should be. We should all have that freedom. We should all enjoy life like when we were children without carrying the burdens of the world. With that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.